How do we make our lives better? When we want our life just to be better, experience it better, it's helpful to look at, yes, the specifics, yes, change the situation, yes, change myself, yes, take more actions, do less. There's all these things that we can do. Now, today I want to talk about one fundamental aspect of how we can orient to our life to always make it better. Now, here's a quick little story. This is going to be a very first world problem story. And to be honest, I was thinking about this, and I just don't have a lot of problems these days. There are certain kind of challenges that I face in different moments, but it never really occurs to me as things that are really, really hard. And that's really just because of a mindset that I've created, honestly, because I've experienced plenty of challenging things in my life. But especially in the last, 10, 15 years or so, it just hasn't felt hard or challenging. So this, you may have to contextualize in your own kind of certain first world challenges, but here's the deal. So I live in a condo right now. We have this great routine in our garage. We made this kind of spa and a fitness center, and it's just fantastic. It's like beautiful. There's a cold plunge that I purchased, saved a bunch of money for and purchased. And then we get this email one day, and they say you have 10 days to remove the cold plunge from your garage. It's the HOA. And you will be charged $100 per day until this is done. Well, we didn't get that notice until I think 45 days later. So my stomach kind of sank in that moment when I saw this. And for a moment, I was like, oh, this is bad. And then my second thought was, and this is because I've trained myself to do this, how is this going to be better? I mean, I went into this world of like, we're losing can't do this thing. I've designed my life. I've wanted to have this kind of like fitness center for a long time. It's amazing. Like what's and they're probably going to take away other stuff from the garage because they don't like us using it for that purpose. Anyway, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm just giving you as an example of what you can do and how you can train yourself to have a glorious life. My first thought, I had a visceral, like my stomach sank and I was like, oh God, And then the second thought was, driven by curiosity, my thought was, how is this going to be better? And I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool that I've been able to do that, because it wasn't coming from doubt. Like, how is this going to be better? Oh, I mean, it's, meaning it's impossible to. But I had this idea implanted in my brain, in my mind, that somehow this is going to be better, right? So a lot of things kind of happened, and then we brainstormed, me and my roommate, my monk roommate, and we proposed to our neighbor, who's our dear friend, to move it to his place. And now, I just went there this morning, it's better. It's amazing. We got this cold plunge out in this lanai. It overlooks this beautiful pond. There's the wind. There's the sun. It's so peaceful. It's objectively better than it was. But I couldn't conceive with my limited mind at that time how it was going to be better. I also was, navigating the whole kind of anxiety of being charged $100 a day. Well, we were never charged $100 a day. The person who I reached out to tell him that it happened didn't even get back to me. He doesn't even really care. We could probably have kept it there for all we know. But it was a wonderful test from life around how I could respond and how I could lean into and find a solution. So if we want to make our lives better, there are millions of things that we can do. This one thing can ultimately change the trajectory of your life. If you expect good things to happen to you. That's one. And number two is that when anything happens to you, train yourself to know with a new belief system that somehow this is going to make my life better. Somehow. And we don't know how. Don't expect to know the how until it just occurs, right? Because so much of us wrestle with, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? In this case, how is this, in my case, not actually tragic, but kind of semi-tragic for the standard that I have in my life, going to make it better, right? Forget about the how and just go into envisioning or ideas or creating solutions, right? And it's so amazing because when we expect good things to happen to us, they do. Now, you might say, well, this is just like mind trickery and kind of magic, and like bad things actually happen to us, and I'm just supposed to convince myself that it's going to be good. And what if I'm in pain? What if I'm in physical pain? How is this making my life better? If you apply this to everything that happens to you and for you, you will discover that it does make you better. In the case of physical injury or disease, and again, people that I've worked with, people I know, my friends, myself to a certain extent, disease has a way of softening us or waking us up to an aspect of ourselves or our life that no longer works for us. I had a friend years ago who was having terrible back issues. The only thing that relieved him from his back issues was getting one of these things, these like bands that you strap to a tree and hanging upside down and relieving the pressure off of his spine. He was walking around like a stiff old man. And it was about, maybe 3 months of this until he realized that the relationship he was in, the romantic relationship he was in, he was carrying her around emotionally. Is that interesting? And it manifested in his physical body. And when he realized this and he addressed it, he spoke with his partner at that time, this girl, this woman that he was dating, and it didn't go well. And he realized that he needed to end the relationship. His back issues vanished in a week. It was, at that time, it was shocking. That kind of thing isn't shocking to me anymore. But it was a great example around how when he now expects everything that happens to him to make his life better, it does. And this is one of those keys example. Now he'll never go into a relationship like that again where he's caretaking and feeling like he's emotionally responsible for his partner. It's beautiful, right? So practice this, and it's very simple. It may not be easy because it's something about training your mind, and our mind actually is the manifestation of a muscle, you could say. And if you haven't worked out your biceps in a while, you do some bicep curls, they're going to be sore and you're going to be weak, right? Physically. The same as with our mind. If we're not used to training our mind of seeing life and experiencing life in a certain way, it's going to be hard in the beginning. But I can tell you, I haven't been doing this for that long, this aspect of it, and it makes a huge difference, especially when you believe and you trust that this will work. And I'm telling you, it does. Monk's oath. Okay? All my best to you.